So it's gonna go in like that, and that's almost perfect. All right, everybody, we are here in my daughter's room with a pretty sizable hole that needs to be patched. We're gonna be painting this room. I think it happened from a rocking chair a couple years ago, and we just kind of left it, but it's been, as I poke at it, it's been getting worse. So before we paint, we do need to fix this. It's really easy to do. Holes in the drywall are really common problems. Don't hire somebody to do it. Watch this video. There's a number of ways of which you can repair a drywall hole. We're gonna go over just one of them today, so stick around and we'll do it right now.
All right, so the first thing that we're going to want to do is measure some dimensions slightly larger than the original hole. We're going to take a really sharp utility knife and cut out a spare piece of drywall, a square piece of drywall that's slightly larger than that hole. And then what we're going to do is trace it. And I don't normally use a pencil, or I normally use a pencil, but I'm using a Sharpie here so that it can be seen. Take that same utility knife and cut out this piece of drywall. If we had done it the opposite way, where we tried to cut out a square first and then go measure that piece of drywall to fit inside, it would be pretty difficult to get it exact. So we want to cut the piece of drywall first, the new one, measure around the hole, then cut out that hole. And see, it should fit in there just perfectly. Cut off some of the edging if there's any fraying or loose pieces of drywall. Take a shim, a wood shim of some kind, and we're going to drill it directly behind it, sinking those screws to make sure that when we spackle over them, you don't see them. And that just provides some support there. Screw in another piece in the middle. I did it a little towards the top because the bottom was a little bit loose. Normally you would put that piece in the middle, or that screw in the middle. Tape it off, and one of the things that I like to do is not overlap the tape. If you have too thick of mesh tape, it can be difficult to spackle. It starts fraying and coming up. Then just take a putty knife and some spackle. This is the kind that goes on pink and then dries white. So spread it all around there, making sure that you're covering the holes, you're covering the mesh tape, and just getting a nice even coat. It's optional to do 2 coats. I do 2 here, but first I take a larger trowel and go over it just to give it a little bit more uniformity. Then give it a light sanding because you are going to do a second coat, or at least I did. What's important to note about the application of the spackle here is you're pressing a little bit harder towards the outside of the hole, loosening up as you're going over the center, and then pressing firmly back down once you get to the other side to create kind of a small hill, if you will. Then you're going to sand it nice and smooth before applying whatever texture that you want. We are painting this entire wall, so I end up texturing the entire wall. Just some small circles as such. You really got to shake this stuff really good, or else it's not going to come out well. But there's the finished product. You can see that you can't see where the hole was, and looks good.